I don't even remember what I cooked last, but I definitely just like wiped gunk off of the lens. So hopefully you can see this, and hopefully there's not a random spot when I'm editing, because I can guarantee you, as I'm like looking at this lens again, that you're gonna get a video with a giant spot somewhere like here, or maybe here, who knows. So anyway, what are we doing? We're making a mess. Just kidding. I'm actually going to film a kolache video. So I know people out there say that these are not kolaches, these are Texas style kolaches. Whatever you call them, they're going to be dough, like a dinner roll type dough with a little smoky or sausage in the middle with cheese and jalapeno. So that's what we're doing. And I've already kind of started. So over here I have my ingredients. I'm going to definitely be working with yeast. Like usual, when I work with yeast, I always portion everything out ahead of time because I'm still so nervous when I'm working with yeast. It's kind of a pain in the butt because I feel like I'm gonna like shock it with too high heat and then kill it. So I have it portioned out, but I wanted to show even the recipe on my blog. I said I wasn't using rapid rise or instant yeast. I'm using the stuff that I got from cooking school at Sur La Table. So that's what we're using. The recipe that I used last time said a package of yeast. So I am using 2 1/4 teaspoons, which is what the package that I have said to use. So that's 2 1/4, and I'm adding it directly to my mixer with the hook. Done. Along with that, I have sugar. I believe it's 2 teaspoons as well, so that's 2 teaspoons, adding that into my mixer. Gonna let my mixer hang out. You notice that I have the dough hook. Obviously I'll be working with dough, so that's why the dough hook's there. In the meantime, I have, you know, my 2 eggs. I have 4 cups of flour portioned out. When I'm adding the flour, I'm gonna add the 1 teaspoon of salt, just regular salt, nothing exciting. But I have here, and what I'm going to put in there, a 1/2 cup of butter. I chose to use just sweet cream butter, so it's salted, and it's a full stick. Mine is like kind of a fat nub, but a full stick, that's 1/2 cup, as said on the packaging. I also have 1 1/4 cup of milk. I'm gonna add both of these into the pot, heat it up so that I can melt the butter, and yeah, we'll go from there. Per my instructions from the previous time, I'm gonna get this on medium low heat, which for me, I think mine goes to like 6 or 7 if you wanna get technical, so I'm gonna have it at 3. Basically what we're trying to do is get to the point where it is melted, but not burning. And we don't want it to take literally forever. Once I finish this, I'm going to let it cool for about 5 minutes and then whisk in those 2 eggs that you see over there. Eggs. And once you've got those 2 eggs whisked in, I'm going to add this, what we're calling the milk mixture, into my mixer. From there, I will add my flour and my salt, and I will get to mixing and making my dough ball. Oh, look, the melting is already happening. Shh. So it's been about 2-3 minutes, I would say. This is kind of what we're working with here. It's still just the milk and the butter. I'm about to lose my butter completely under the already liquefied stuff, and it will be gone forever. But we've only got like a couple more minutes left of this, right? So once this gets to the point where this is no longer solid, I will turn the heat off and let it hang out for 5 minutes. I want to make sure that I keep the butter kind of moving so that I make sure it doesn't stick and it doesn't burn, which I don't think it will. So you could also, I guess, just let it hang out. But I like kind of poking at it, seeing where we're at. so that I add heat, but not too much heat. Like I mentioned in the recipe, it should not be bubbling. It should just kind of be hanging out. If it's bubbling, the heat is way too high, and you can actually brown your butter that way, which is not what we're going for. As I've been talking here, it looks like we are so close to being done. I don't know if you can see this kind of tiny little thing of butter. It's now totally melted looking, so I'm gonna kill the heat and wait for 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes. If you notice, there's a little bit of a film down here. That's totally normal. That's okay. Don't worry about that if that happens to you. I went ahead and cracked my eggs, so all I have to do is drop them in, because you know I have to wash my hands when I'm done gooping around with eggs. So I got that. All right, so I have my eggs. I'm gonna smash them up with this whisk. Hello, splash zone. So this is looking pretty good. Once I'm done incorporating these eggs, which looks like it's already happened, I'm gonna add it into my mixing bowl. Again, a reminder, my mixing bowl has my yeast and my sugar in it. All right, adding my milk mixture. So it's milk, butter, and eggs. Perfect. And it looks kind of like that. Next up, we're going to add flour and salt. So I'm going to go ahead and add the salt. It's going to be, 1 teaspoon. Here's my 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of slowly incorporate my flour in. So I'm going to do about a cup. And actually, because I have so much liquid, I'm going to do about 2 cups. They're a little bit less. I didn't do an even one. I'm going to end up putting all the flour in there, I'm sure. So I'm going to go ahead, lock this down, and get this started. And here we go. So I'm starting with just a little bit of flour because I know if I put all of my flour in here, it will just shoot flour clouds everywhere. So now that I've noticed that this has enough liquid flour incorporated together, I'm going to stop it, pull this up a little bit, and add I'm going to go with the rest of my flour. So for me, it seems making a mess is pretty much unavoidable when I'm working with flour. But all my flour's in there. Again, I'm going to turn it on just 1 notch. Going to go a little slow. You could have incorporated all of your flour at once. You could have done it in 1 cup increments or something of the sort. The reason I did kind of 2 cups and then added the rest was because I didn't want to shoot flour across my kitchen. I've done this recipe before and flour just, I mean, it's everywhere. And it may, in fact, still be everywhere, but who knows. You should already start seeing it kind of make a dough ball. And as it's kind of rolling along here, we are going to give it a chance to kick up the speed and let it really beat that dough ball around again. So now we've kind of reached that point. We're getting good cling to the actual dough ball, so I'm going to increase the speed. This is a 2nd click up on my mixer, and I'm actually going to take it up 1 more. And I'm going to let this kind of just do its thing. I am noticing that the sides are a little bit stickier than I would like. I want the ball to stick to itself, not to the sides. So I may actually have to add a little bit more flour into this, but I'm gonna let it just kind of hang out for a little bit and spin. So So I would be lying if I said I like how this dough looks, and maybe this will turn into a fail. The sides of the bowl aren't clean like I would like them to be. The dough is a little bit stickier than I would like it to be, but we're gonna roll with it. So I have my greased bowl. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna form kind of a dough ball like it's already trying to, but I'm gonna scrape off some of the sides here and plop it in and cover it and stick it in my refrigerator overnight. Like previous dough recipes, if you wanna work with it right away, you can totally opt for that, but I don't. So this will probably be another two-parter. See you tomorrow.